What is up, beach bums? Welcome back to the channel. If this is your first time here, I do post fishing videos every week. Be sure to hit the subscribe button if you enjoy fishing related content. So if you haven't heard, there are some changes that are about to take place on YouTube. And if you don't have a YouTube channel and you don't follow this stuff closely, you may be very unaware of some of the things that are taking place that the government has implemented or has required YouTube to make some changes based on some COPPA violations that they have made, which COPPA is, I'm gonna have to read this because I want to make sure I get this right, but Children's Online Privacy Protection Act. It's something that is regulated by the Federal Trade Commission, or the FTC, and I can't remember how long ago. I got it pulled up here, but YouTube was hit, or Google, which owns YouTube, was hit with a $170 million fine because of some violations of COPPA. I don't know all the ins and outs of this. I've been doing some research and watched a lot of videos on some of this stuff. In a nutshell, to my understanding, you can't collect data from children to create your demographics for advertising purposes or whatever. So, for example, like when I click on a video, they're gathering information on me. Like, I'm 35, male, I live in Gulf Shores or Baldwin County or whatever, Alabama. And they get that information. They also see some of the things that I click on, some of the things that I'm interested in, fishing. You know, they see those types of things, and they can cater ads towards me, directed content, because they have an idea of who I am, and they can target me with ads. That's how the internet works. If you're unaware, that may be news to you. I don't know, but they are, all these websites and whatever you're on, social media, all that stuff. They're collecting information from you. If you didn't know that, I'm sorry, but they are. And it's not like your bank accounts or your social security numbers or anything like that. But they're getting demographic information from you so that they can use that to sell advertising. That's where they make their money. That's how the world spins around. We know this. It's money. And they're able to charge more if they have that data on us. And they can go to these advertisers and say, hey, look, if you want to target this specific demographic, we've got it. We can put these ads right where you want them, and they're going to pay more money for that instead of course, not having a clue who's seeing their advertisements. So evidently, I don't know all the ins and outs, but evidently YouTube was collecting this information on kids that were 12 and under. They were getting some of this information, and that's evidently a violation of COPPA, which, hey, that's, I suppose that's a good thing. I don't know. I guess we don't want to be keeping information on kids. I'm a little confused on how all of that exactly works. But anyway, they got hit with a $170 million fine, so they're having to make some changes that's come from the government. So what that means for creators like myself and YouTubers across the entire platform that they are implementing, and it's going to be starting next year, where they're really starting to have to abide by these new regulations that the FTC has put on YouTube. These aren't changes that YouTube is creating or making up. This is coming from the government, so this isn't YouTube. But one of the things that they're putting on the creators is we have to designate whether our videos or our channel is directed for kids or not directed for kids. And that's your two options. Then it's black and white. Is your content appealing to children, or is your content not appealing to children? Is it geared for adults? So that doesn't really sound like a big deal until you understand what that really means in regards to ad revenue and what ads YouTube can now run on your channel. So if you select that your channel is appealing to kids and that it is kids content, then they will not run targeted ads on your channel, which means it will just be blanketed ads, whatever. And the difference in revenue from targeted ads to just whatever the heck they throw up there is 60 to 90%. So for example, if I say, yeah, my content being fishing related content is appealing to children, if I select that, targeted ads go away, and my income will decrease automatically from 60 to 90%. So right now, I make anywhere from $1,000 to $2,000 a month on YouTube, which is great. I'm thankful for that. It's really helpful. It grows, and it really helps me to make these videos. It really helps my business. Like, it's a great thing. I'm happy for that. But of course, I can't live off $1,000, $2,000 a month. I've got a wife, I've got a kid, I've got responsibilities. I've got to make money other ways. But if that were to drop 60 to 90%, and that's going to kind of be what it's going to be from here on out, that's not really, you got to think about where you put your time and effort and energy. Obviously, I love fishing and I love making YouTube videos, but it's got to be a return from whatever I put my time into. And that's how it is with anybody that's producing YouTube content. Some people do it for fun, but to be consistent and to be putting a lot of energy and a lot of time and effort into it, it's usually people that are looking to make an income on YouTube. And there's a lot of different ways that you can do that. Of course, I run guided trips, and that's because of YouTube, which has really helped. So YouTube isn't like the only source of income that I make from ad revenue. It comes from other places. And of course, big YouTubers, they've got sponsorships and brand deals, and they have revenue coming in and products that they sell themselves. And all of that, helps them make money as well. It's not just from the ad revenue. So there are different ways that you can make money on YouTube and still make videos. But a lot of the time, especially starting out for small and medium-sized YouTubers, a lot of your income is from the ad revenue. And that's what helps motivate you. That's what helps cover the expenses of what it costs to go out and make these videos, and the time and the resources that it takes to produce the content. So here's what YouTube has given us from the FTC, I believe, as guidelines as to what to look for to determine whether or not your content is geared towards children or not geared towards children. According to the FTC's guidance on COPPA, a video is child-directed, which we call made for kids, if children are the primary audience based on the factors described below. Children are the primary audience, but the video is still directed to children based on the factors below. So here we go. Here's what we have as guidelines to determine whether or not we should mark our channel as geared towards kids, or appeals to kids, or doesn't appeal to kids. So when deciding whether or not your channel or video is made for kids, you should consider various factors. Subject matter of the video, ergo educational content for preschoolers, whether children are your intended or actual audience for the video. Here's a tricky one. Whether the video includes child actors or models. So what that means is child actors it's just anyone in your video. So like, for example, me, I've got a 2-year-old daughter. So who you can probably hear in the background right now, she's playing with mom. There's never a moment of quiet in my house right now. But if my videos include a child actor, my daughter, it could be deemed as geared towards children based on these guidelines. Like, that's what they're using as a determining factor, whether or not your video is geared towards children or appeals to children. We'll continue. Whether the video includes characters, celebrities, or toys that appeal to children, including animated characters or cartoon figures. Whether the language of the video is intended for children to understand. Whether the video includes here's another one. Here's another one. that's a little confusing. Whether the video includes activities that appeal to children, such as play acting, simple songs, or games, or early education. This is the one that a lot of YouTubers are hung up on, because anything at any given point, of course they give us some examples, but the phrasing of this is very, very ambiguous and unclear. Includes activities that appeal to children. So, which they define children as any kids under the age of 13, so 12 years of age or younger. So if your content appeals to children, then that's what they're going to use as a guideline to determine whether or not that video or your channel should be deemed as made for kids. Fishing very well could be geared for children. So here's the deal. So I got some options here. And none of them are really good, and you don't really know which direction to go in this instance here. If you mark that you appeal to children, and that your content's made for kids, your ad revenue drastically is going to decrease because they can't run targeted ads any longer on your channel. Or if I mark, hey, you know what, this content is not geared for children, but they come in and based on this information that they've given us say, hey, your content is geared for children, even though you mark that it's not, they are putting that on the creators, not YouTube. And you are now subject to, get this, a $42,000 fine per video. So each video that I mark, this isn't for kids. If they come in and they see that I have child actors or basically kids in the video under the age of 13 in that, and they say, you know what, that's one of the things we put in there that's for kids. There's an X, $42,000. Any videos that I have that have fishing in it, which obviously is like all of them, and they say that's an activity that's appealing to children. So basically they could fine me if they wanted to for every video on my channel for $42,000 if I mark that it's not for kids and they determine that it is. Honestly, and a lot of YouTubers think that they're okay. They think, because like in my mind, when this stuff first started coming out and news of this started coming, and I'm pointing to my computer over here. That's why I'm pointing this direction. When news of this first started coming out, I was thinking like cartoons, unboxing videos for child's toys, the obvious things like that, educational stuff, that's just obvious. Like, yeah, that's for kids. We're going to be the main ones affected by this, but based on the information that keeps coming out and the information that they're giving us to determine whether or not your videos are geared towards children, well, that really doesn't help us very much. Like, that could be literally anything, and there's a lot of activities that kids are interested in. I mean, sports, music, entertainment, comedy, all those things have to take into consideration whether or not their videos are geared for kids or not. So how this all really ends up shaking out, I'm not sure. My plan, I'm not sure honestly which direction I'm going to go. For now, I have my channel marked as not for kids, which feels really weird. And I'm basing that on my demographics, because I can see the age groups of my videos, and obviously it's very heavily adults. It's all adults basically, is all it shows, and heavily people from the ages like 20 to 55. Like, that's the majority of my audience, and the content that I have is basically, it is geared towards adults that are wanting to fish and learn how to cook and go to restaurants and all those types of things that adults are going to do. Of course, I know many kids do watch this channel, and I'm thankful for that, and I'm glad. I do want to be appealing to kids, which is weird. It's like a really weird place to be in when you're having to make this designation and be like, no, I'm not appealing to kids, but like at the same time I want to be. Yeah, but it's weird. It's putting us in a really bad spot. That's very ambiguous. It's very confusing, and it's more serious than a lot of the other changes that YouTube has made in the past, because this is the government. This is the U.S. government coming in and making these changes. It's not just YouTube saying, hey, well, we're doing this and that, and you got to make these changes. This is from the government. So, and they're threatening with $42,000 fines. Like, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? So comment below your thoughts on the subject and what your opinions are. Maybe some of you are aware of these changes that YouTube is having to make. And again, I believe everything is really having to go into effect by the first of the year. But let me know what you think. I don't really know what's going to happen. I think a lot of things will change. I think a lot of channels will change. A lot of things that you may enjoy, may watch, it's going to change. I think this will be one that a lot of creators will be forced to make changes, or may not be sustainable under this new model, depending on how things are determined. Hopefully, fishing won't be a target for this. I'm hoping the fishing genre will not be considered falling in that category as appealing to kids, but it sounds weird saying that, so I don't really know. Appreciate you watching, and you stay bummy.